Hi everybody, this is F&A Injury Lawyers and we're doing a new segment and it's called Pop Law. We talk about what's going on in the news, and today we're going to talk about Alex Murdaugh, but specifically not the criminal case against him. As you may know, he's a South Carolina lawyer. In fact, his whole family comes from a dynasty of lawyers, and they have a personal injury firm which still exists under a different name now. And he was recently convicted of killing his wife and son, and he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison. But this particular segment, I want to talk about not him or his criminal case, but rather this one civil case that he kind of handled, or rather orchestrated. And I think it teaches a lot of lessons for personal injury victims, as well as lawyers, and just everybody who's interested in civil justice. So what he ended up doing was he had this housekeeper, and her name was Gloria Satterfield, I believe, and she was severely injured when she fell down some stairs. She tripped and fell inside his house. So what he ended up doing was, it was a February 2nd, 2018 trip and fall. And what he ended up doing was he ended up, having a friend of his who was also a personal injury lawyer sign up to represent her, or rather maybe represent her estate, because she died right after the fall. She died. And then he concocted this story, right? Now he's the defendant, right? Because he has an insurance company, an insurance policy. He's the policy holder. He is the insured. And this is Alex Murdaugh, the same guy who got convicted. So what he ends up doing was, he knows that he has this policy, and it's a personal umbrella insurance policy. So it's kind of like, you have your primary homeowner's policy, and then you have an umbrella. So he had this umbrella policy on his house, and for himself, for $5 million. So what he ends up doing is, first of all, he calls the adjuster, and his friend is representing this woman and her estate, and I guess through her children or through her husband. I'm not sure who it was, but through one of the family representatives, because she's passed away. So he calls up the adjuster, and he threatens the adjuster. He says, you have to pay me, and if you don't pay, not me, but you have to pay this claim, and if you don't pay this claim, then I'm going to admit fault. If it goes to trial, I'm the defendant, right? It's my house. I'm going to say that it was my fault, and then you're going to have to pay more. So that's the first thing he does. The second thing he does is he says to the adjuster that I spoke with the lady, my housekeeper who fell, and that she told me that it was my dog that caused her to fall. So my dog was being, running around. I wasn't taking care of my dog, and that's what caused her to fall. Meanwhile, there's no evidence that she ever said anything like this, right? And what actually happened was that when she went to the hospital, she tells everybody in the hospital that she doesn't know what caused her to fall. And it's in the hospital records, and there's no evidence that his dog is what caused her to fall. Furthermore, the police department of South Carolina are actually thinking of investigating him, that it could be a criminal act, since he's, already convicted of killing his wife and son, that it could be a criminal act of him somehow, injuring or killing this housekeeper. So anyway, so then the next thing he does, the third thing, is he says, she never worked for me. She worked for me in the past, but she was not there to work. She was there to pick up a paycheck for somebody else that performed work for me. And why does he do that? Now, also, this is not true. There's no evidence of this, but he's a smart guy. Obviously, this guy has problems, Alex Murdaugh. He was on drugs, oxycodone, I believe. He was addicted to drugs. I don't know if this was at the same time. She tripped and fell in February of 2018. So this is a few years ago. But the reason he says this is because if she was working for him, then it would be a workers' comp bar, meaning that an employee cannot sue his or her employer, right? The only remedy then would be workers' compensation benefits, which are lost wages, and you get your medical bills paid. But he doesn't want that. So what he ends up doing is he says that she wasn't there to work that day. She was only there to pick up a paycheck for somebody else who performed some services. Very, very vague. So anyway, somehow the insurance company believes all this. And furthermore, he tells them, hey, if you don't pay me, then I'm going to sue you for bad faith. Right? And he scares them, and he's very abusive and aggressive with the adjuster. And in this particular case, it works. They pay out $4.3 million as a settlement, $4.3 million. And guess what he does? He just keeps it somehow. I don't even understand how he did it, because he wasn't the lawyer. So the money had to go to the actual lawyer. I believe his name was Fleming, and he's under indictment. I'm not sure, but I believe that was the lawyer. But somehow he gets his hands on the settlement. They're all in cahoots, right? And then he takes the money, and he never pays the family, even though the family of this housekeeper They live like in a trailer, and the trailer or the mobile home where they live is going to be repossessed. They're going to lose their home. And he knows this, but he doesn't care. He just keeps the money, even though he's a wealthy guy. He has a multiple, he's got like this huge mansion with all this property, including like dog kennels. That's where the murder occurred. And he just keeps the money, pockets it, and that's why he lost his license. That's why there was a federal court then lawsuit against him for this. So just a crazy story, but I thought it was interesting because it's a famous case in the news, but it's the personal injury aspect of this case. Not the criminal aspect, but rather the PI aspects. I thought it was interesting to share. Let us know what you think. Please like and subscribe to our channel. We are here for you. And our goal is helping serious injury victims and families. And we are real lawyers helping real people. But guys like this, just shysters, it's sad. But I guess now they're getting what they deserve. Okay, have a great day, everyone.